Hey guys, so yesterday I did a video talking about Insomniac games and Marvel's Spider-Man 2, so the sequel to their first game that is most likely in production right now, and some of the things I would like to see in that game. So if you didn't get a chance to check that out, that will be in the description below. But today I wanted to do a video sort of doing the opposite. So I want to talk about things that I do not want them to either bring back or introduce in their Spider-Man games. So first of all, for the love of God, Insomniac, please do not bring back Screwball, okay? She has run her course. She wasn't very interesting to begin with. I don't know. I think they kept bringing her back because they thought it was funny, but I didn't really get the humor. I thought it was just sort of a waste of side mission. So please don't bring her back. I think I can speak for the majority of the consumers of this game that she was one of the low points of Marvel Spider-Man. So sort of branching off of that, with side missions, I do not want them to try and bring back as many collectibles. I'm okay if there's a few, like the backpacks and Taskmaster type missions, but it got to the point where I felt like every side mission was a collectible. I don't really want to be chasing pigeons around. I don't really want to be taking pictures of cats when I could just be fighting Black Cat or Mysterio. You know, I thought that the Tombstone mission was really great, so maybe look at that and find some better villains to make us feel like we're doing something worthwhile and not kind of just wasting time. So that's just don't bring back time wasters. That's sort of what I'm saying. Also, this was a side mission as well, the research stations. I'd say don't bring them back as they were. I felt like they took too long to load. Sometimes they really just felt like busy work and unrealistic, but you know, they do have some merit. I think that they could be brought back. I just don't want them to be brought back as they were. I didn't think that they were necessarily worth their time in the game, even though they weren't terrible by any means. They just, I think, could really be improved, and I'm not really interested in playing through more that are as similar as that, if that makes any sense. So next, I'm going to talk a little bit about story elements that I really don't want to see them try and do. One is killing off Peter Parker, and this is something where, like I said in my previous video, down the line in the third game, or if they decide to do more after that, I'd be okay if his story arc had reached the end and it was time. But as of right now, there's still a lot more for his character to accomplish in this universe, and I think killing him off would just be really premature and sort of, you know, a hack job in terms of storytelling. So that's something I don't want them to do in Marvel Spider-Man 2. Alongside that, I don't want Miles Morales to become the main character quite yet either. That was something I also said yesterday, so I'm not really going to explain that too much, but again, I just feel that Peter's story arc has a lot more to cover before they hand it over to Miles, even though I could see that being a possibility in the future. Another thing I don't want to see is the Clone Saga. I don't want them to try and make some convoluted story. I'm okay with a complex story as long as it remains cohesive and interesting. And finally, the last thing. This is kind of a major one for me. I don't want them to try and mess with Peter's love life too much. I understand that here and there might be, you know, sort of a side love interest that pops up, and obviously it's not always going to be smooth sailing between MJ and Peter. But at the same time, I don't feel like we need the whole Sam Raimi relationship drama for every single game where, like, every second they're both walking on eggshells with each other. I think that that's sort of unnecessary. We kind of got that in this game a little bit, and obviously, like I said, it's not always going to be perfect. Peter Parker doesn't really get the happily ever after, especially not at this point of time in which we're playing. And so, you know, I'm not saying make it uninteresting, like make it a perfect relationship or anything, but I don't necessarily want, like, Spider-Man and Black Cat to go off and become a ship in the sequel, and then have Peter and MJ have to resolve that in the third game. I think that that would just be too over the top, and I just don't find that necessary. But anyways, those are my thoughts on certain things between story elements and just some creative choices that I'd rather they not try to do in the sequel. But let me know in the comments below, what are things you guys do not want Insomniac Games to try and do in the sequels to Marvel Spider-Man? Thanks you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and we'll see you guys in the next one.